Intelligence has been out for a couple of months, and although there are a lot of bad publicity Apple Intelligence has been having over the last few weeks, the features that Apple has released so far has been mostly underwhelming. We are going to rank 8 of the Apple Intelligence features from most useful to useless. As always, with these types of videos, it's my personal opinion. It's sad that in 2025 we have to mention that in these type of ranking videos. Without further ado, let's get started. Coming in last place is the Siri redesign. There's not a lot to say about this particular redesign. Instead of the orb that is on the bottom of your screen, it has like a colorful rainbow on the edges. It's nothing special. I know that Apple is supposed to completely overhaul Siri in later versions of iOS 18, but for now, this Siri redesign is the most useless feature of Apple Intelligence. Number 7 is Genmoji. So Genmoji allows users to dictate to their iPhone what type of emoji that they want to create. Now, you're probably only going to use this feature once, maybe twice, and you can share it with some of your other Apple owning friends. But when it comes to posting Genmojis on Facebook or Instagram or X, it might not actually work, which is why I have it ranked at 7. In addition to, you're probably just going to use it just to see what it's about, and then you're just going to forget about that particular Genmoji and just go back to the emojis you are used to using. On the topic of image generation, Image Playground is next on the list. It ranks a little bit higher because you can actually share this with your folks who have Android devices, and you can actually put it as your profile photo, so it's a lot more useful than Genmoji. Again, the Image Playground app has the same problem that Genmoji is going to have, is that you're only going to use it a handful of times before you move on to other features. Now we're getting to the little bit useful but still has some flaws, and that is Prioritize Mail. Now, in my experience, Prioritize Mail doesn't always prioritize the emails that I need to see. For example, if I get an email from my brokerage, Apple Intelligence doesn't consider that as priority. It instead highlights something from like the Rippaverse, but shout out to Eric July. I love the Rippaverse, but that is not as important as an email from my broker. So far, there is no way to tell Apple Intelligence which emails rank higher and should take priority. And I'm using iOS 18.3, which is in beta, but hopefully maybe with iOS 18.4, we'll be able to actually tell Apple Intelligence which emails should be prioritized. Number 4 impacts a bunch of different features, and that's summarizing your conversations, your emails, messages, and notifications. Now, the notifications part of this summarize feature has been getting a lot of flack lately just because of the completely horrible notifications that Apple Intelligence provides. But when it comes to other apps like YouTube or Discord, it works for the most part. I mostly use the summary for text messages and on occasion emails, but with emails I personally like to actually read the email to get a full understanding. Number 3 is reduced interruptions. Now this is only going to prioritize the notifications and the interruptions when you are using this particular focus mode. Now, I've set it up so that only a handful of people are able to reach me in the event that I have this focus mode turned on. I think that for the everyday person, they're probably not going to use this feature, and they even may rank it on the lower part of this list. But for number 2, I have writing tools. Now, I use writing tools a lot in my emails, in my text messages, and although I find it pretty convenient to have this feature built in to iOS, I still on occasion go to the ChatGPT app. And that's because with the ChatGPT app, it has a summary of all of your conversations with it, and I can always just refer back to a previous conversation. Side tip, you definitely do not want to put personal information on ChatGPT just because it will save that information. But although the writing tools are useful to have on device, I can easily just go to the ChatGPT app or the Google Gemini app and do essentially the same thing that the writing tools offers, which kind of makes this particular feature a wash because you don't really need it if you have the other AI competitor apps. Now, for my number 1 most useful Apple Intelligence feature, and that is Cleanup. For those of you who don't know, Cleanup actually removes a subject from your photo. That way you can edit the photo the way you want, and you can post the edited version. Now, although this kind of leads into some murky water with the ability to edit photos and change, it's essentially a memory, I find that Cleanup is actually useful when you know how to use it and when you use it for the correct purposes. And that is it. Those are my rankings for the 8 Apple Intelligence features. I know that there's going to be a ton of more Apple Intelligence features coming throughout the year. And what are the features that you view as useful versus useless? Let me know in the comments. I want to thank all 488 of you for subscribing and watching the videos. It really helps the channel out. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. Take care.